Hope you're enjoying Consenting Adults. For new episodes out every Monday, look for us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you can get podcasts. My guest today is 38-year-old Sophia, who is a stay-at-home mom. Her husband, Jake, is 39. He's an engineer. They've been married for 18 years, so got married pretty young. In fact, they've never slept with anyone else but each other until 10 years into the marriage, they played with another couple. Sophia, what brought that up? Was it like a dinner party that kind of went wild, or what happened?
Well, the funny thing is that we were very young, obviously 20 years old when we got married. And as we progressed in our marriage, I opened up to him about how attracted I am to women. And so we knew that was always in the back of my mind. So yeah, it was a drunken night, to be quite honest, with a close couple of ours. And I remember the wife started kissing me and touching me. It just kind of happened. Next thing I know, we actually were in separate rooms and switched partners that quickly.
So okay, the wife kisses you and then you end up like with her husband in a separate room?
Yeah, that's what happened, because her husband was not comfortable with all four of us being together at the same time.
Oh, is he shy?
He was. Yes, he was.
So, alrighty then. Did this kind of happen unexpectedly, or did you kind of had conversations where if the situation presented itself, you'd go for it?
It was completely out of the blue. And Jake knew how I was attracted to women. So he let the kissing and the touching move forward. And she started engaging with Jake, and her husband kind of stood back, and then it came up that he wanted to just be separate. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of went with the flow because I was excited. I'm like, this is fun. And we'd never slept with anyone else but each other. And I could tell from my husband's cues that he was okay.
How was the experience?
It was good. It was fun. But they ended up staying on our house that night. We woke up in the morning and they took off as fast as they could have. Of course, we're like, oh my gosh, we're fine, but are they okay? There was that experience, though, that led us to realize, okay, we want to explore the openness in our marriage more.
Now, did you ever talk to that couple again? I mean, they were close friends, right? Did you talk to them after that?
We did talk to them, and we had a couple more experiences hanging out with them as far as connecting sexually and everything. But the further on that progressed, I could tell that her husband was not quite comfortable. He just wanted to have sex with me and her, but he didn't want her to sleep with my husband. So,
do you know whether they were in the lifestyle?
They were not. No.
Okay. All right. So how long did it take you before you guys decided to look for other people?
Let me see.
I mean, did you take a long break or were you guys like gung-ho ready to go?
Well, we ended up having our first child. And so that slowed that down. We had a lot of conversation, but didn't know where to find what we were looking for. Mm-hmm. So we had our first child. And then after that, we first started on Tinder, and we put our posts up separately, expressing that we were married, but looking for people to play with. Yeah, essentially.
And did you find anybody?
So it started weird because the whole point in starting this was for me to experience my
bisexuality.
Bisexuality. But then what ended up happening was my husband was working away so much. So he was actually meeting people on Tinder while he was working away. And But
you knew about it.
I knew about it. I was okay with it. I was involved in the setup and everything of them going on a date and wherever it went from there. Mm-hmm. So it actually started there. And then...
But no, hold on a second.
I know. Go ahead.
So was he going out of town then?
Yeah, he was out of town.
Okay. So he was then hooking up with women when he traveled?
Yes.
And he would sleep with them?
Yes.
And what did you get out of it?
I enjoyed it. And I this is the part that I don't understand about myself, really, is that I was turned on by the fact that he would have these experiences. He'd call me right after. And then I was so sexually charged by it. And then we usually had phone sex at that point.
So then he would call you after he was done and like describe what happened? Or?
Yeah. Explain the whole situation.
Was there jealousy?
I would lie.
That's a yes.
Yeah, there definitely was. Like if I said no, I'd be lying. But I realized that the desire for him to have like that pleasure was more exciting than the jealousy that I experienced.
And how long did that go for?
That was a few months that happened. And then I remember one work trip, he came home and he's like, I don't want to do this without you. I want us to be involved. So from there, we looked on Cassidy, saw all these parties and realized, okay, we can get out there together, but it had to be super planned because of little kids and everything, you know? So that's how we were able to engage together and getting out.
So the whole time that he's traveling and having sex with other women and just telling you about it, you weren't doing anything? You weren't getting any action? And for a while you were okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. When he told you that, okay, I think we need to do more together, were you at that point of feeling the same thing yet or no? Or were you still okay?
Yeah, no, I mean, I always wanted to be involved. It really was a situation of I just wasn't able to. Finding a babysitter and all that, our circumstances made it harder.
Right.
So, but I did want to always be involved, but I don't know. I mean, even if he goes on a date now today, I'm still get excited that he's doing that.
Have you heard about cuck queens?
Yes.
And as you probably know, there's a whole spectrum, right? Just as there is with everything else. Have you given any thought to maybe that you may be one or have that within you?
I definitely think I do to a certain degree. Just looking up the definition of it, you know, online, I don't reach that major. I'm not trying to humiliate myself or downgrade myself, but I do realize that it is there to a certain degree where I like to set him up on dates where, I mean, I've gotten contact with women and said, okay, my husband's going to be in your town and I'm okay with it. I'd like to set him up for a date so he has something to do at night when he's done working. And then we end up talking in a group chat and I'm involved the whole time, you know, so they'll text me and say, hey, we're going to dinner right now. We're meeting up for drinks. And I'm okay with that because I'm fully engaged.
Right. Now, are these women single or are they married or like, are they for sure in the lifestyle or does it not matter?
No, they are all for sure in the lifestyle. We had met them on Cassidy. One was married and her husband was okay with it. They had a profile together.
Do any of these dates include pictures or video or audio for you?
Sometimes yes to the pictures, and that depends on the comfort level of the women. I like the pictures just so I can kind of envision myself being there.
Like what kind of pictures?
One was him going down on her, and then another one was her giving him a blowjob.
And seeing that, does that turn you on even more to be able to actually see it?
Yeah, it's a super turn on.
Each time he's describing his play date, are you masturbating or do you sometimes just listen? Or is it always a sexual thing?
It always starts with us on the phone, but then as he's describing everything, then we end up, both of us will be masturbating at the same time, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, that's what phone sex is. Okay. All right. Now, have you progressed to the in-person playing, the
Yes.
in-person watching your husband? Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What do you like to do? Or is there a certain situation that was really good?
We've primarily just been threesome, the FMF. I always get that off wrong, but that's primarily the way how we play is just another woman. I've tried to explore the option of adding a guy in, but I never seem to find someone that I'm comfortable with.
So you haven't done it since the first time, like with your friends?
Correct.
Wow.
I know.
In the play dynamic outside of you and your husband, you prefer other women.
Yes.
The women that you end up playing with, are they always bisexual? And I don't mean like just play style, like, you know, they'll play with other women, but do you know whether they're also bisexual? And to you, is there a difference?
That's what's been interesting is I realize I only want to play with women that are bisexual. So we've had a few encounters where the woman has portrayed herself a little differently to me, where I thought she was definitely into me and that Jake was just, you know, adding to it. But one experience, I remember we were making out on the couch and the girl goes, so you cannot put your fingers in me. You can't touch me down there.
Whoa, she's saying this to you?
Yeah. And I'm immediately like, we're at her apartment. We're on her couch making out. And I'm like, I wanted to like run away because I did not expect to have all these rules set out on me like right before, because she wasn't really honest about her comfort level with women.
So she basically wanted your husband.
She did. She wanted him, which, good for him. I was
right.
Yeah, I was okay with that. But I'm like,
but that's not what you signed up for.
No, it wasn't. Mm-mm.
I appreciate what you're saying because when I asked the question, you understood right away. You didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I want to kind of expound on that for our listeners. And that is, there's a difference, right? There's a difference between a woman who's really bisexual.
Right.
Who like wants to be with other women, gets off on it the way straight women get off on being with men.
Yeah.
Can you tell the difference when you're like in a sexual situation?
Oh, absolutely. Some women will say, I'm bi-comfortable. Well, you're not bisexual. You're just like, yeah, I'll kiss your boobs and fondle you, but I'm not into you. I want your husband,
Right.
So we did a swinger cruise and we're on the dance floor drinking, and as typical, I didn't see any guys I was into. So my husband goes to get me a drink and he comes back and he goes, hey, I just met this girl at the bar and she's really into you. She wants to meet you. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of blew it off because I didn't really think it was anything. I go up to the bar and I get my drink, and then she comes up to me and I could immediately tell that she was drawn to me to want to be with me, but then she liked him also, but it was a good package deal for her. Mm-hmm. We ended up playing.
Oh, it's that chemistry?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can feel the chemistry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we did end up playing with her that night. We invited her back to our cabin. She was just immediately connecting with me physically before she got involved with him. So I could immediately tell just through this physical experience that this was about me, I loved it. And that was honestly the first time I really felt like that true bisexual energy back. Mm-hmm. And it's been hard to find that, to be quite honest, in the lifestyle, because most people just want to do the couple swap thing.
Have you run into, do you know the term pillow princess?
Oh my God, yes. I've had my share of plenty of them. I'm over them.
Tell me about it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So one experience, this was funny. We'd gone to a club for the night, to party, and hadn't found anybody that I was interested in. So we're like, let's just go play together. And because we have just as much fun playing together, being in that environment. So we go into one of the little rooms, and there was these two girls that were walking up to go into the room at the same time. And we just met at the same time. And it happened so quickly. It was, oh, are you guys going in there? Like, yeah, well, we're going to go in there and play. And do you want to join us? Oh, sure. So one of the gals, she goes into the room with us, and I mean, she was beautiful and she was attracted to us too. And her friend's like, okay, well, I'll see you later after this. Like, come find me. So she just leaves her. So then it's the three of us. And we had such a great time as far as it was just fun. And she's like, I've never done this before. Oh. So, we had sex with her, but she did not engage with me that much. She was by me and we were touching and stuff, but she was just more having the pleasure of my husband. Oh. But it was still a fun experience. So we exchanged numbers, and then it was about like 6 months later, we had messaged her just to say hi. And she just goes, hi, good to hear from you. She's like, so are you wanting another hookup? She's like, just be honest. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you're interested, like most definitely. And she's like, okay. She's like, whenever you're coming down, she lived in San Diego. She's like, whenever you're coming down, just let me know. So we set it up to meet up with her, and we meet up for drinks, get into an Uber and head back to the hotel, fooling around in the back of the car. And we get to the hotel, and she just straight up goes and lays down on the bed and just goes, okay.
Come please me? Yeah,
exactly. And I was really taken back by it, but
you're there.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. But I was like, oh my goodness. When I'm involved in a sexual experience, I want to make sure that the other person is going to be getting as much pleasure as they should. But this was an absolute situation. If she didn't care if either one of us were getting what any pleasure. She just wanted to be taken care of.
Right. Isn't that just a huge turnoff, though?
It was. We never contacted her again.
And are there a lot of women like that in the lifestyle where they say they're bi comfortable, and when it comes down to it, they're really just wanting to be pleased by anybody?
I mean, I think so, but I'm sure I'll get tons of hate mail from that one. But I really do think that a little bit. Yeah.
Your husband is straight?
He is. He's happy, obviously, with just keeping it with the threesome situation. He does keep saying, he's like, I want us to be able to find a couple that you feel comfortable with, that we can swap with. Mm-hmm. But
so what is your deal, Sophia? Like, why can't you find a guy that you'll be okay sleeping with?
I don't know.
So what is that? Are you looking for an emotional thing, or do you just haven't found anyone attractive enough?
Yeah, it's looking, I guess I'm always looking for a whole package. It's the personality. It's, am I attracted to the looks? But then there's also is the wife attracted to my husband? Is my husband attracted to the wife? I worry about the whole dynamic instead of just letting go and thinking about myself. I can't let go of worrying about all 4 people involved. I definitely have found other men attractive, but then I get really, really shy. Whereas with the women, I'm so much more forward and will be honest about what I want. But with the men, I am not like that at all.
In your experience so far, do you find that women are any better at going down on other women?
That is a good question. And I can tell you that only one of them has gone down on me out of all these women.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, I know.
How many years have you been in the lifestyle?
6.
6 years in the lifestyle as a bisexual woman where you only do threesomes with other women and only one has gone down on you?
Yeah.
Okay, Sophia.
I know.
We need to get you to the place. And I don't know, maybe it's an age thing, because when I talk to women who are much older than you, like 40s, 50s, they start to look back on themselves.
Right.
It's okay for you to just go after what you want, that you deserve to be the one that is satisfied. That sometimes what you may think is selfish sex is actually the best sex you can have.
I know.
And I think a lot of women in their 30s, I certainly know that I was like that, where you're always concerned about the other person enjoying themselves, right? So you're a pleaser. You want to please the other person.
Yeah.
You're concerned if they're enjoying themselves, that you kind of forget that you're in it for the same kind of fun, but you would rather that they enjoy themselves first and foremost. And then if you get something out of it, great.
Yeah. And as I'm getting older, I realize how much more forward I need to be in
asking for what you want.
Exactly. And I know that comes with age. And I do feel like, I mean, because when we started, we were early 30s where we got involved in this. And I do feel like that's young. And I do see the difference in people that I meet that are in their 20s or my own age in the lifestyle, and then versus those that are in their later 40s or early 50s. I do see that major difference. So I'm looking forward to growing up more.
Looking forward to just caring a little bit less about others.
I know.
Which is actually, it's kind of one of the jewels of aging, I think. I hear it from so many friends. Just had a lunch with a friend last week, and it was the same thing. It's like, she's like, you know what? I just don't give a fuck anymore. And she's enjoying life and sex, and she feels sexier at 50-something than she ever has. So we're going to have to do a follow-up with you, because I want to see you get there. It's like, especially since you guys have found the lifestyle, at a pretty young age, you've got a lot of miles left on you that you might as well enjoy it, right?
Right.
All right. So only one
I know
has gone down on you.
Yeah.
Was she any good?
She was. I mean, she cared about what she was doing, for sure. But you know what my favorite thing, though?
What?
Is I love scissoring. Like, that is my most ultimate favorite thing to do with the girl.
Okay. So this is how vanilla I was.
Okay.
Like a couple episodes ago, I talked to it's called the Unsuspecting Swingers. And one of the things she says is, I love scissoring. What do I have to do? I have to look up what she actually means. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. But that's your jam, huh?
It is. Yeah, absolutely. We had one situation where we met up with a girlfriend, and she invited another friend of hers. This was actually probably one of my favoriteest times I've had. Like, they were both truly bisexual. I remember they brought baby oil and they introduced scissoring to me. I'd never done it before, and I was hooked immediately from then on.
So is this a thing? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, Sophia.
Okay.
Like, is there a whole process to it? Like the baby oil thing, is it better if you get all oiled up, lubed up, whatever?
So this was funny. So you want to make sure that you put towels down over the whole bed. I remember the three of us just got right next to each other on top of the bed and just started pouring it all over. And it just was extremely sensual. And, we're touching each other's nipples and just all over the place. And so you're already charged physically at that point. And she had us lay down and she just got on top of us. And it was the extra lubrication, like from the baby oil, that made it so much more pleasurable, Mm-hmm. I know it's a different position for some women, so I know they might not necessarily be comfortable with it either.
Do you orgasm that way?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you like it better than receiving oral?
I do, actually.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it's got to be good.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you're able to do other things. So if you've been in it 6 years and have only had one woman go down on you, then I'm kind of wondering, well, then what have you been getting out of it? You have to have been doing other things too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So scissoring is one of them.
Scissoring's one of them.
And what else do you enjoy?
We've done a lot of vibrator play with the girls.
Uh-huh.
And then there was never, so oral was not really a big thing, but just using our hands for stimulation,
Mm-hmm.
playing with each other's clit, that was always a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Can I? So,
Ask
like,
away.
have you ever? Yeah, okay. Have you ever been in a good threesome in which, you're all involved at the same time?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the
best
ideal position? Yeah.
So one of our favorites is I'm on my back, so missionary, he's inside me. And then I had the gal on top of me and I was eating her out. Well, she was sitting on top of my face. But then they were making out at the same time.
Oh, so she was turned around. See?
Yeah.
You've got
I forgot to add that.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean, she could be reading a book facing the other way for all I know.
Yes. I remember one time Jake was behind a gal and I was under her and we were both using the vibrator at the same time. So those are...
See, again, I don't know who's facing where.
Okay.
So, okay.
I would be so bad at erotic talk. So I'm on my back. She's on all fours and she's facing down on me and we're making out, but we're not directly underneath each other. So I have like the vibrator on her and then Jake is, standing up and he's doing her from behind. He's doing doggy style behind. But
wait, but are you and the woman in like a 69 position?
No, we're face to face.
Oh, you're facing each other. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do those positions where the women are 69 and the guys behind one of them,
mm-hmm.
do those actually work?
It did for me.
Girl, you never told me about it.
They're difficult positions, but I was on my back and then the other girls were 69ing. She's been right there giving oral while he's inside me at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of complicated, but...
whenever I've seen it,
mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking, I don't know if that's actually doable because like there's a head in the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and everyone's got to be comfortable too with
where you are, with where your face is.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Alrighty then. This is a very graphic show. Very graphic episode, this one.
Sorry.
Okay. So you're from Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big population of swingers out here?
There is. There's tons. Orange County is huge.
When I first started doing this podcast, someone told me like some crazy stats about Orange County and swingers.
Mm-hmm.
And politically, Orange County is supposed to be a little bit more conservative.
Right.
And yet, man, you guys are freaking on there.
Yeah. For Southern California, there's literally, I think there's almost a party every single night.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere. From LA to Orange County to San Diego to Palm Springs.
Here's to you getting back into the swing of things, Sophia. If you'd like to connect with Sophia, you can find her on Twitter. She's one of our followers. Go to @ConsentAdults, and she goes by The Real Sophia. In fact, check her out. Check the rest of our followers out. They're really cool people. All right, next time on Consenting Adults, they're cuckold newbies. A woman talks to us about how and why they discovered they want to be a cuckold couple.
It was awkward because we had never done that with another man before, right? And so we had just, he took his pants off and I was kind of playing with my husband while also, having sex with this other man behind me. There's a lot of times where I just had my hand on my husband, or maybe I was giving him head, or he was kind of bringing me water and supporting me. I wasn't interested in having a threesome. I really didn't want to tie the two together.
That's next time on Consenting Adults.